How much I'd wish to return to the good old days. Remember when Ben 10 was all about a 10-year-old kid unlocking the power of the universe on his wrist? A show that blended action, humor, and a dash of childhood wonder, giving us heat-blasting battles, multi-armed brawls, and that irreplaceable charm of Ben himself. But what happens when the creators lose sight of what made the magic in the first place? And then we got this, a reboot that tried to turn everything we loved about Ben 10 into something else entirely. Today we're talking about when show creators become unfaithful to their audience, and trust me, the Ben 10 reboot is the perfect example of how things can literally go wrong. To understand where things went wrong, we need to go back to what made Ben 10 great in the first place. It wasn't just about a kid with an alien watch, it was about growth, complexity, and stakes. Ben grew up, so did his problems. Alien Force and Ultimate Alien gave us a more mature, slightly darker Ben facing real consequences and diving deep into galactic wars. The character development wasn't just limited to Ben. Gwen, Kevin, and Grandpa Max, everyone was involved. The audience matured alongside the characters. We weren't just watching a Saturday morning cartoon, we were part of a journey. This evolution kept the show relatable for its aging fan base, the stakes kept rising, and the storytelling kept getting better. And then Cartoon Network decided to just hit the reset button with the 2016 Ben 10 reboot. On the surface, it seemed like a fresh take, a way to introduce the new generation to the franchise, but instead of expanding on the rich universe they'd built, they took a shortcut, simplifying everything to the point where it just lost its soul. The reboot went back to square one, 10-year-old Ben, but this time it lacked the depth and the heart of the original. The Omnitrix transformations were oversimplified, the aliens lost their uniqueness, the serious, engaging narrative was traded for a slapstick humor and over-the-top antics. In short, creators traded substance for style and it fell flat. So breaking down where the things went wrong. First off, the tone for the original Ben 10 had humor, sure, but it was balanced with real stakes and meaningful character moments. The reboot, well, it felt like it's written exclusively for a very young children base, and while there's nothing wrong with appealing to a younger audience, they completely ignored the older fan base that grew up watching this entire franchise. And then there's Ben himself. In the original series, Ben was cocky, yes I admit, but he matured over time. In the reboot, he's just a caricature of his former self. He's more interested in goofy antics than actual heroism. The depth of his character, his struggles, his growth, it's all gone. Villains also took a hit. Classic baddies like Wilgax and Kevin 11 went from being formidable threats to comic relief villains. With watered down personalities, the tension, non-existent, every conflict in the reboot is resolved with a gag, not a genuine moment of triumph. And this usually happens when you're just trying to maximize revenue over customer satisfaction, which I study in the class a lot, but this applies to people in the entertainment industry as well. But the audience wasn't just disappointed, they were outright betrayed. Fans who had invested years in Ben 10 felt like their love for the show had been disregarded. The reboot was out of touch with the core of the series. Fans took to forums, social media, and even YouTube to voice their frustration. It was clear the creators had stopped listening to fans, and when that happens, the trust between the creators and the audience breaks. In that case of Ben 10, it's not just disappointing, it's a case study as to how not to handle a beloved franchise like the way Cartoon Network did it. So what's the lesson here? It's not that reboots or reimagining are inherently bad. Look at shows like Cobra Kai or Mandalorian. They kept the core essence of the original series intact while still introducing something new for the younger audiences. Creators need to respect what came before. It's not about rehashing the old stories, it's about understanding why people fell in love with the series in the first place. That's the trust you build with your audience, and once you break it, it's really hard to get back. So where does that leave Ben 10 now? Well, the damage is done, but it's never too late for the creators to listen to their audience and course correct. We've seen it happen before. As fans, we can only hope that if Ben 10 ever comes back again, it's done with the respect and care it deserves. At the end of the day, fans are the lifeblood of any franchise. They're the ones who stick with it through thick and thin, so creators listen to them. Because when you don't, you risk turning your beloved series into a hollow shell of what it once was. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. What do you have to say? Until next time, Cinematic Cosmos Create, signing out.